Mashed potato goodness inside. Looks pretty good. How's it going, everybody? So today we're going to attempt to do a mashed potato stuffed meatloaf. First, I need to cut and quarter the potatoes. I'm using Yukon Golds, and I peeled them first. I'm just going to get them all cubed up here, and then we're going to get them boiled, and then we'll start the next step. All right, once you have them all cubed up, we're just going to get them into a pan, and then you always want to start with cold water. You never want to start with hot water, so just fill it up past the potato mark, and then we'll get those on to the stove, and we'll simmer those for a little bit. All right, while the potatoes are going, let's start the next step. So I want to cut up an onion. I'm going to use about half the onion. Usually if I was going to use it raw, I would do a nice fine dice. I am going to cook them a little bit, almost caramelized. So I don't need them to be super fine, but at least a rough chop. First, I'm going to do several cuts lengthwise. I'll do about 4 or 5 of those. And then we're just going to rough chop it the other direction. They don't have to be perfect. We're going to be partially cooking them anyway. If you prefer, you could always throw them in a chopper as well. All right, so next I'm going to get a nice hot pan. I'm going to put a little bit of butter, and then I'm going to also put a little bit of olive oil. That's going to help with the heat factor. It's going to allow the butter to be at a higher temperature and not burn on you. And then let's get most of that melted, and we'll throw our onions in. And I will turn it down just a little bit once I get it started. Go ahead and give that a saute here for a few minutes. After a few minutes, our onions are looking pretty good. We're just about ready to pull them off the heat here. About what I'm looking for. I don't want them quite caramelized, but I definitely do not want to add them raw. We'll go ahead and pull those off, and we're going to let those cool off while we work on the next step. All right, it's time to check our potatoes, see if they're done. They should be just about now. I'm just going to test it with a fork, make sure it pierces pretty easily, and they are done. So we want to pull this off, and we want to get these drained. Next, I'm going to put the potatoes back in the pan. I do apologize for the lighting. I didn't realize that this new camera really absorbs the light compared to when I was using my phone. So I definitely have to cut back on the lighting a little bit. I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of butter. And then I'm just going to use my hand mixer, and we're just going to give it a quick whip. Once I give it a quick whip, I'm going to go to a whisk. I'm just going to kind of pull everything down here. And then for now on, I'm going to be mixing everything with the whisk so I don't over mix it. Next, I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of sour cream. Then I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup or so of heavy whipping cream. You can also use milk if you wish. And then I have some seasonings I'm going to throw in there. I have a tablespoon of parsley, about 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, and about a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. I'm going to get that mixed in. And then once we mix that all in, we'll let this kind of cool for a few minutes while we work on the meatloaf part. All right, next I'm going to be starting with about a pound of ground beef. I'm going to add in those onions. I'm going to add in some more seasonings, some salt, some garlic powder, some parsley, and some black pepper. Then 1 cup of panko. Then I'm going to add a couple large eggs. Next, I'm going to go ahead and just dive in and get everything nice and mixed up. Once we have everything nice and mixed, then we'll be able to start our roll here. Now you can use a loaf pan, whatever you want to do. I'm going to put out a piece of plastic wrap. I'm going to roll mine on the plastic wrap. Just get that nice and settled there. Next, we're going to go ahead and place our meatloaf, and we just want to get it flattened down in a nice even layer the best we can. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put a layer of the mashed potatoes on here. They have cooled for a few minutes and they're not quite as hot. I gotta just shape it here just a little bit. Next, I'm going to kind of roll the plastic wrap, and I'm just going to roll it. And then we're going to place this on a sheet pan, and I'm going to line it with some parchment. Not the perfect roll, but it'll be all right. We're gonna go ahead and just get this placed on here. Definitely not gonna be my prettiest one. Using a loaf pan is definitely a lot easier, like I said. Just do any kind of final shaping you want to do. And then next we're gonna put some sauce on it. I'm going to use some Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. Normally I would make my own with like ketchup, brown sugar, and everything. But I really do like this barbecue sauce, and so that's what I'm going to use today. I'm going to go ahead and just spread it around a little bit. Then I'm going to put this in the oven at 375 for about 45 minutes, or until internal temperature of about 160. All right, when the meatloaf's about halfway done, I'm going to saute up some zucchini. I'm going to put some olive oil in, and then anybody that watched my vacuum seal review the other day, or a few days ago, I vacuum sealed the zucchini, and I was just waiting for a day to use it. So it's been cut up for a few days here. I'm going to go ahead and get this sauteed up to serve with the meatloaf. After a few minutes, our zucchini is looking pretty good here. Just getting ready to pull it off, and I'm going to go ahead and season it up at this point. I'm going to put in some fresh ground salt. Ground black pepper. And a little bit of garlic powder. And I'll go ahead and give this another final toss here. All right, so that's done. I'll set that aside. All right, after about 45 minutes, I'm going to pull the meatloaf out, and I'm going to let it sit here and rest for about 10 minutes or so. It's going to help keep it together. A lot of times meatloaf will fall apart if you start cutting it right away when it's hot. All right, after we let it rest, we're going to go ahead and cut this sucker open, take a look at it. I can see the little mashed potatoes kind of poking out on the sides. Definitely wasn't the best roll. Looks pretty good though. See the mashed potatoes in the center there. It didn't turn out perfect. It doesn't have the meat completely surrounding it, but it's still going to be pretty good. We'll go ahead and slice up a couple slices here. I'm definitely still going to enjoy it either way. And you got kind of your meat and at least one of your sides kind of all in one here. Definitely smells really good. I haven't had a meatloaf in a while, so I'm pretty excited with this one. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get some of this plated up here. Go ahead and grab one of these slices. Like I said, it didn't turn out perfect. The roll kind of messed up there. You can use a loaf pan and definitely make it a lot easier, but it's still going to be really good. And then I'm going to add some of that zucchini that I made on the plate. Anyway, this is my version of doing the mashed potato stuffed meatloaf. If you like my video, definitely hit that thumbs up. Thank you for stopping by. Subscribe, like, comment below.